The U.S., I mean, I would say finally they're waking up to the implications for tariff hikes. I mean, they are going to be a headwind to growth. They are going to add to inflation. They are going to keep the Fed on hold for a while.
Does that mean stagflation then? Hit to growth, upside to inflation? That's not a good combo.
Yeah, I mean, so I wouldn't call it stagflation in a newspaper headline version kind of thing, right? I mean, it's sort of...
We love our headlines.
Yeah. But I mean, there's an element of that, right? I mean, so we are simply going to see a slowdown. I mean, our own forecast is 1.8% for the U.S., which is below consensus. And we have actually have inflation remaining fairly sticky at the same time, right? So it's kind of stagflationary in nature for sure, these types of policies.
And so how do you see the Fed responding to all of it? Because they haven't quite come out and said much as of now.
Yeah.
And I think the market, I think a bit of the nervousness that we're seeing from the markets is also because of lack of clarity on the monetary policy front in reaction to what may happen with economic conditions because of fiscal policy.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of other things, right?
I mean, a lot of other things,
so I mean, so in some sense, I mean, they have had the policy of saying, I mean, we're not responding until we start to see policies, and now they're starting to come, right? So to some extent, they need to begin to sort of respond to these, right? But I think a couple of things why they're hesitant to cut. I mean, first of all, inflation, even before all this Trump stuff, was already quite persistent. Growth was holding up. They had already taken out insurance by cutting by 100 basis points. Maybe that was a little too much in some sense in retrospect. And then, of course, now you have the tariff being rolled out that is going to add to inflation. Fiscal is actually this year going to be a pullback on growth because of savings in layoffs at this government level. Next year, there's going to be a bit of a fiscal support from that side as tax cuts get rolled over and we get more tax cuts in, but not necessarily by much. So I think this broad notion that fiscal policy is going to come to the rescue next year, I would play down a fair bit.